There is somebody I know in India. This person is, perhaps if somebody is a householder and could be enlightened, I think of this person. His name is Dr. Mishra. And he is perhaps roughly 80 years old right now. Throughout his life, I have never seen him lying, telling lies, and I've observed him so closely. I've spent so much time with him. I've never seen him get angry at anybody, ever. And he's got 2 sons, both are doctors, and a family and so on. And his philosophy is, he gets up in the morning, takes a bath, and does his Rudram Abhishek. Every morning he does Rudra Abhishek. He does Abhishekam to Bhagwan. And then he goes to his clinic. He was a director of a government organization earlier. Now, obviously, he's retired now. Then he simply goes to his clinic and sits there till 12 p.m. waiting for patients. If patients come, good. If not, he might be reading some scripture or might just be in his own mind. At 12, he has his lunch. Then he retires to bed. Then he goes back to his clinic at 4 p.m. His clinic obviously is in his home, so just 2 steps away is his clinic. But he has the discipline, and he doesn't go to his clinic in pajamas, believe me. Here's the beautiful thing, he dresses up. From his bedroom to his clinic, an average person would take 3.5 steps to reach there. But he will wear his, if it's summers, he'll wear his trousers, wear his shirt, and wear his shoes properly with socks and stuff, will wear his watch, and then go and sit in his clinic. And when he's done, at 12, he's going to rest in his rest clothes. Then at 4 p.m., he's going to go back in his clinic all dressed up. And in winter, he's going to put on a jacket, put on his warm clothes, and then do the same. And then in the evening, 7 or 8 p.m., I don't know exactly, he closes. And then he just enjoys the rest of the evening. He would have an early meal, and then he might watch some TV, or he might read a book. That's it. And he spent 80 years of his life doing that. When his wife passed away a couple of years ago, there was no panic at all. He said, everybody has to go. She died of a heart attack. He said, everybody has to go. She went. I'm sure she's in a better place. So, just never seen him angry. One time, when we do rituals, most of us are very serious, uptight. Oh, we are talking to God right now, so nobody messes with me, It's that mindset. How dare you laugh, I'm doing a ritual here and all that. So, during the Navratras, he would do these yajnas, and because I was very close to him, he would very lovingly invite me when I was in India. So, I went there once, and his 2 grandsons came. One of them was playing around, one of them was sitting, the other one brought this bow and an arrow. He said, I'm going to shoot in the yajna and bring up this fire. He had these ideas. And Dr. Mishra's wife was alive at the time, and she came, she brought a thali of puja, and she started singing songs, devotional songs of Mother Divine. But Dr. Mishra didn't tell anybody to shut up. He was just not bothered. He just kept chanting his mantras, kept making offerings to the fire, and somebody's getting up, somebody's getting down. He just wasn't imposing his views on anybody. Not at all angry with anybody. Even with the grandchildren, he didn't even smile, didn't even say yes or no. He just kept doing what he had to do. I stopped the little one. I said, maybe you can shoot later. But, that's what equanimity is. And that's what to have that equanimity, you have to have a degree of faith, a sense of surrender. That, okay, things will happen. I can only control so much. But other than that, there are some core virtues And by telling you this example of Dr. Mishra, I've basically already told you the first virtue, other than the philosophy of life. This virtue is called compassion. When we get mad, when we get angry, when we start shouting at somebody, whatever be the reason, at that moment, we are not being compassionate. We are being judgmental, of course, whether the other person is right or wrong and whether they deserve it. Anyway, nobody deserves to be shouted at, by the way. That's my personal view. But compassion is the understanding that everybody acts according to what they know. They cannot act on something they don't know. And compassion is doing your best. I think if I were to sum it up in one line, I would say helping anybody, anytime you can, in any which way possible, is compassion in a nutshell. There was a lady in France, in fact, it's a true story. She was a poor lady and an old lady. She went to this park. She had her handbag there, and she forgot her handbag there as she walked away. 5 minutes later, when she realized, when she went back, in the meantime, more than 10-15 minutes had passed, her handbag wasn't there. So she went to the police station, panicking. She said, all my IDs were in my handbag. I had a little bit of cash. I'm on social security payments, my pension payments, and whatever cash was there was in that handbag. And I just bought my groceries for a couple of days because that's how I buy. She said, I buy every couple of days. That's all I can afford. And that was also in my handbag. And I've lost it now. And I don't know how I'm going to get through the rest of the month. Going to the government office, waiting for the pension to come next month, and so on and so forth. And they asked what kind of bag it was. She said it was a very old looking bag. It was almost tattered. Nevertheless, that was my bag. And the cop said, we'll let you know if somebody calls in, but we can't promise anything, obviously. She said, okay. So that lady said that I have no phone at home. I can afford a phone. So she left her address, and a few hours later, a cop knocked on her door. And they said, we found this bag. It's matching the description you gave us. Is this your bag? She opened the bag. When she opened, other than her stuff in there was another bag in it. And that bag had a block of cheese, a bottle of wine. That bag had some more groceries, bread and other stuff. And she said, oh no, this is not my bag. Well, this is my bag, but I never bought this stuff. So I think two things are mixed here. Somebody else's stuff is in here. And the cop said, no ma'am, there's a little note as well with this little bag in it. And the note read, I'm sorry that you had to undergo the shock of losing your bag. I hope these tiny little offerings would offset some of it. What a beautiful way of expressing your compassion to somebody. When you return the same bag back, you're not showing any compassion. You are simply doing the right thing. It's everybody's job. When something was not mine, if I find it, if I return it, then I'm simply doing what I should be doing. It's no big deal. But going the extra mile and making that person, giving them that surprise, or making them feel, look, it's okay, you weren't intending to lose your bag, and since you lost it, you must have gone through a whole plethora of emotions. So let me just do my bit. And compassion is never shown based on who you think is deserving of your compassion. When you start to judge, that's not compassion. That's kind of a trade. That's something you do to make yourself feel good. Oh, I think this person deserves it, let me give it to him. Well, if that person deserves it, then that person has actually earned it. Compassion, on the other hand, is when you don't judge the other person and do what you can to help them sail across, if you see what I mean. To help them get over the wave, get past the tide. And doesn't matter how strong anybody is, everybody could do by receiving a bit of compassion. If you look at the lives of the greatest saints all across the world, the single most common and important factor in all their lives was compassion. For example, when we make an announcement, please turn your phones off, and somebody forgets it, and most people are very quick to react. Who's this person? They can't even keep this. Well, maybe you also forgot one time. They weren't intending to do it. It's not like they intentionally kept their phone, call me at 10 a.m. All right, so when this comes, I want this interruption to come right in the middle of a discourse or whatever. They weren't planning to do it. Similarly, a lot of things will happen in your life that you have no control over, and the other person isn't a bad person. They don't mean to hurt you, they don't mean to disrespect you, they don't mean to be a certain way, and they end up being that way because maybe internally, if it wasn't an honest mistake, which generally what it is, maybe they are hurt too. And if you want to heal somebody, then certainly hurting them back won't heal it. So you decide at that point in time, do I want to hurt or do I want to heal? Do I want to act the way that befits me? Or should I act or respond in kind? As Gandhi said, if everybody went for an eye, the whole world would turn blind. When are you going to put a stop to this tension that exists between you and other people, between you and the world? It can't be stopped by hurting others. It can't be stopped. Look, today I'm going to show them what I'm made of. They know what you're made of. So it's unnecessary. If you are going to choose compassion, then you are one step closer to the divine goal. You're one step closer to enlightenment. You're one step closer to salvation. So every time you act, ask yourself, can I choose compassion over all the other choices I have right now? If you choose compassion, you will elevate yourself. Fill yourself with so much goodness that when the other person starts taking from you, one day they would also be filled with goodness because that's all you've been offering them till date. If they drag you down, that means you have lost the battle. That means you are now one of them. That means your goodness was temporary. So compassion is not this cozy feeling, oh look, I'm being compassionate. Compassion is something that drips from your actions like honey drips from, that hive. That's what compassion is. If your actions don't show it, then what good is all this? This is a sheer waste of time. It won't make you a better person. You will not feel any less empty. You will not feel more at peace. If you were to reject everything else in your life, if you were to never meditate, fine. Never pray, fine. Don't even believe in God, fine. Don't even do anything to help people, fine. But at least be compassionate with your thoughts, with your words, with your actions as much as you can be. Compassion is not charity. I'm not saying you have to give something to other people, physical, material, or emotional. But the emotion you carry in your heart towards and with others can be the one of compassion. And that is the only single most important virtue in life.